What connects French architect Paul Gourdet with the historical center of Almaty? Why is the Jarkent Mosque the single surviving work of Chinese architect Han Pike? Where is Valikhanov's manor house Sirimbiet located? Forgotten names and little-known facts, recent history and national color. All this is in the Grand Buildings program. Today in our program, how legendary high mountain rink Medeo was built. Almaty neoclassicism of the 60s of the 20th century through example of state constructions. Unique circus masterpiece of Vladimir Katev. We say Alma Ata, we mean Medeo. We say Medeo, we mean Alma Ata. This phrase in the 80s of the last century has become proverbial in the Soviet Union. High Mountain Ice Stadium was an official symbol of the main city of Kazakhstan. However, the famous ice stadium name sounded familiar much earlier than the sports facility was erected near Almaty. Before modern ice rink at the same place in the Medeo mountain area for nearly 2 decades, there was an old ice field under the same name. The legendary ice rink appeared here in 1951. Ice was poured in the old way from mountain water, which was discharged by the Mala Matinkai River. However, this did not prevent Medeo to snatch championships from 2 most famous ice platforms at that time, Inzel and Davos. On the contrary, it was possible to develop an incredible speed on natural surface. Thanks to this, 47 world records were set here in a matter of 17 sports seasons. In 1961, there was an urgent need for construction of a mud dam in the Medeo mountain area, because of which the ice rink was closed for several years. However, soon the government of the USSR made a decision to revive the legendary Medeo. This project was entrusted to architect of Alma Ata Giprogor State Design Institute, Vladimir Katev. Peaceful explosion of Medeo, which created a mud dam protecting from catastrophic mud flows. The Medeo mountain area in Almaty city made it possible to proceed to design capital structures of future cultural and resort complex in this mountain area. Authoring team, when starting to design an ice stadium, at first did not expect what difficulties and problems they would face. However, gradual accumulation of material, familiarization with a number of problems associated with design of this kind of structure revealed a whole complexity of tasks. This project was very expensive. It took 8.5 million rubles. At that time, it was possible to allocate only a third of this amount for the construction from the Republican budget. So this project had to be approved at the union level. Construction complexity was also in fact that before the mountain area was necessary to build a road and conduct all necessary communications there. Water supply, electricity, and sewage. Road Construction Department was a main contractor at the site, and because of this fact, a young graduate of Road Transport Institute, Ella Soy, came to Katev's brigade. First we came here as 1st Brigade, led by a foreman, Kostomarov Valery Stepanovich, and I was a master. We arrived, there was such a wooden fence standing along these hillocks, and there was nothing else. There was a booth, I went to look, and there were pieces of paper. And it was written, Lydia Skoblikova, and other famous names. When we began construction from this western stand, we started with this first pit. I had been working here for 6 years. Construction of Medeo skating rink was declared as a shock work komsomol construction in which over 1,300 people took part. Most interesting constructive element is of course the field itself, being 2.5 meters thick. This includes both the ice itself and a multi-layer pie of steel, concrete, and insulation, over which 170 kilometers of cooling pipes were evenly distributed. Dozens of options were developed, as with coating of the ice field itself and without coverage. They had to refuse this option since it fenced off the ice surface of insulation, which created an oily film on the ice surface, improving the skating over the ice.
Маслянистую пленку, улучшающую скольжение коньков по льду.
Contemporaries recall that Katev was a man not only very keen but also extremely pedantic. He tried to control literally all stages of work. As a result, this feature of him helped to better influence the construction quality, but it also significantly increased the construction period. No one had a right to make a step without his signature, without his seal. And I just needed all documentation. Every day I spent at this Almaty Gipragor and was proving something. I said, well, put a seal, I have much work to do. And he said, I will not put anything quickly until I thoroughly check everything. Inhabitants of Almaty remember December 28, 1972 as the opening day of the new ice rink. 10,000 people attended this ceremony. There were no vacant seats. During the ceremony, a traditional parade of athletes honoring veteran skaters and presenting a symbolic key to the ice rink were held. This is a property of the Republic of Kazakhstan. You can imagine how many people were there. All these stands were occupied. Demonstration performances have passed. There were figure skaters and hockey players. We prepared the ice. At that time, we already had Czechoslovak cars by means of which we poured ice, as they poured it for ice skaters at all ice rinks. Stadium and stands were constructed of concrete. Construction was monolithic, with a stable facade. This approach was dedicated by high seismicity of the region. Rink builders did not strongly support its aesthetic value, because first they built the sports facility, requirements for which were already high enough. Nevertheless, some decorative elements were found in the project. Therefore, the back of the electric board got a bas-relief depicting two skaters. It was created by artists Nemets and Konstantinov. Moreover, from the main entrance's side and northern gates, the arena is decorated with a multi-level ramp and a ladder in the form of rock cliffs made of red granite. It is terrible to imagine, but all this magnificence could be lost at the mercy of element, which repeatedly sent powerful mud flows to the city.
$6
million cubic meters of water were collected there with stones. Words cannot do it justice when mud flow is going. At first, a small stream passes through this dam, and just in 5 minutes, there is already such a hole. Moreover, I remember at some point these stones were rushing and were beating right at the feet. People were running to Makhnatka because they have to save themselves. Just 2 seconds and you would not be saved. Medeo was rescued and its fame continued to win over the whole world. Czech-Slovak directors Zdeněk Podskalski even made a feature film here about the directors and choreographers' adventures from Prague, who decided to stage a ballet on ice. The main role in the film was played by honored artist of Kazakh SSR, Rosa Rimbayeva. In the second half of the 80s, Medeo was closed for reconstruction, which lasted 7 years. During this time, much has been changed in skating. In the whole world, indoor ice arenas with adjustable temperature and humidity regime began to appear. Sporting value of Medeo for a while faded into the background and became more known as a premise for Asia Dao-Si Festival. Next reconstruction lasted from September 2001 to December 2002. Then a modern refrigeration unit was purchased and a new concrete foundation of the field was flooded. Before the Asiad in 2011, Medeo was closed again for revision. This time they changed the main part of the engineering systems, installed a modern scoreboard, photo finish, improved acoustics and lighting. Renewed ice rink once again opened its doors for major sporting events, and in the following years, the 32nd World Field Hockey Championship, the World Speed Skating Championship among students, and the Winter Universiade 2007 has passed here.
По спидвею мотогонки, чемпионат мира.
Speedway motorcycle racing World Cups were held here, and you can imagine that for the World Cup it is necessary to build up the ice. You need to fence everything so that motorcyclists could not come racing out. They built up the ice to 25 to 30 centimeters. They had spikes about 4 centimeters, and they had cut all these spines and corners. Well, it was okay. They kept this event well. Everyone was happy.
В воротах все резали. Ну ничего, провели, хорошо, все довольны.
As before, Medeo remains one of the most popular sites of the metropolis residents and visitors, in particular because it is here that large-scale cultural events are held regularly. It is interesting because these events are kept not only in winter when the skating rink is working at full strength, but also in summer. For example, it was here 2 years ago that mass festivities took place within the framework of the 4th annual Festival of National Cuisine of People of Kazakhstan, Toy Kazan. It should be noted that Medeo is not first work of the Ukrainian Katev in Almaty. He was a part of the project team working on building Young Spectators Theater named after Musripov. He also acted as the chief architect of the Palace of Sport and Culture named after Balovan Shalak. Although this building was constructed on a standard project, Vladimir Katev managed to emphasize his personality. In particular, due to placement on the side and main facades of Sidorkin's engravings. Unfortunately, due to recent reconstruction, the unique appearance of this building was lost.
Когда я пришла сюда работать,
When I came here to work and I remembered this with a smile, there were still correspondence secretaries who typed on typewriters. We got our salary in hand and we signed in the register. And of course, we remember this with a smile.
и мы расписывались в ведомостях. И об этом, конечно, мы вспоминаем с улыбкой сейчас.
Liazat Mamedova has been working in another building constructed by Vladimir Katev for more than 20 years, namely in the Akimatov Almalinsky district in Almaty. It is distinguished by neoclassical design, which was unusual for architecture of the early 1960s. Katev deliberately designed this object semi-antique so that it seemed that it had been standing at this place since pre-revolutionary times. The main entrance, to which rounded staircase leads, is inscribed in the rounded corner of the building. Stylized colonnade runs along the entire length of the southern and western facade, supporting a tall, smooth frisée with a curved cornice. Construction is crowned by a blue dome with a flagpole resting on a high drum with a margin of narrow arched windows. On octagonal marble columns, a powerful ionic cap is constructed, made using national motifs and accented with an ornamental neck. On one hand, this building with its rounded shape reminds me of Roman buildings, the Colosseum, for example. Moreover, on the contrary, thanks to the dome and design, it carries bright Eastern features. From inside, the building looks like any other administrative building with long corridors and square offices. However, it has one highlight which is rarely exhibited. A round hall crowned with a blue dome is a real work of art. Rich white stucco molding spreading on ceiling gives a solemn ease to the hall. Tiny mirrors are twisted in general composition which contribute to bizarre play of light. Imposing height of ceilings creates an inexpressible feeling of clean and free space. Another local pride is a cascade chandelier made of Czech crystal. It was made by special order approved by the Almaty Architectural Bureau.
Уникальность этого здания еще в том, что
Uniqueness of this building is that we have preserved to this day what was originally created. Sometimes it happens to us that, like it was with the sports palace of Balovan Shalak, we are losing something in pursuit of high tech and attempt to create something new and modern. Now I can say about our building that we have not yet lost anything here.
про наше здание я хочу сказать, что мы пока здесь ничего не потеряли.
Entrance portal and central staircase also boast a wealth of redecoration. Marble and wood masterly used an interior amazed with its magnificence and put a certain imprint on the atmosphere prevailing here. It is curious that despite such a rich and even pretentious redecoration, much more appropriate when decorating theaters or houses of culture, this building has never served artistic needs. On contrary, in Soviet times, exactly as now, it performed exclusively administrative functions. Moreover, townspeople remember about it.
Бала кезімде анамыз екеуміз осы ауданда, осы төңіректе жиі
In childhood, my mother and I often walked in this neighborhood and in its surroundings, and she liked to tell stories of different buildings. As a native inhabitant of Almaty, she knew many interesting things about buildings, parks, and monuments. I remember she told me then that this is an administrative building of the city administration. Then I could not articulate this abbreviation, Gor Ispolkom, although I tried. Now I am working in this building and still remember everything that my mother told me then.
Енді қазір өмірдің алма кезегі өзім осы ғимаратта жұмыс істеп жатырмын. Және де кезіндегі сол анамның маған осы ғимарат туралы айтқандары әлі күнге дейін есіме түседі.
A little later, Vladimir Katev set to work on another sign building for Kazakhstan, namely the design of the Kazakh State Circus. It was the first capital construction of this kind in the Republic. Before that, performances took place only in the warm season in a tent circus. First in the territory of the Green Bazaar and later on the site of the present Kazakh Drama Theater named after Oezov. Actually, we are artists of the Kazakh State Circus. Incredibly, we are proud of our building to the bottom of our hearts because there are absolutely no real such masterpieces of architecture in the world connected with circus activity. I state it authoritatively. Moreover, this is not only my opinion, but also the opinion of many thousands of artists who worked here. In addition, it is the opinion of artists participating in international programs and those who came here from other countries.
Интернациональных программах со многих стран мира и так далее, и так далее.
Few people know, but initially the Almaty circus should have become almost an exact copy of the Ashgabat circus. However, Katev and his team managed to convince the management that the Almaty circus should have its own style. Our circus is built in the form of a yurt. It is noteworthy that there was nothing similar to it in the whole Union. Although, for example, there are more than 40 circuses in Russia, more than 10 in Ukraine, in Republican centers. However, there is no similar circus like ours. Moreover, we have 4 circuses in Kazakhstan and they are all different. Capital Circus reminds us of a landed UFO. Another looks like a diamond. The Karaganda Circus looks like a ring. And our circus is like a yurt. Building consists of 2 parts with different functions, a round structure with a main arena and a rectangular building with administrative and technical premises. Circus stands on a reinforced concrete frame. Its facades are decorated with white plaster and granite. The scaled dome crowns construction. It is covered with many aluminum panels, which decrease in size as we approach the center. The shape of the roof resembles the helmet-shaped domes of traditional Central Asian architecture. The circus interior is also amazing.
Нашей гордостью, конечно, является и фойе на первом.
Our pride is the foyer, of course, on the first and second floor. This foyer is decorated with unique natural materials. Granite, marble, and very expensive species of wood are used. Then ceramic panels performed at the highest artistic level.
Потом керамика, керамические панно, исполненные на высочайшем художественном уровне.
As in the case of the Medeo construction, Katev's attention was focused on creating not only a unique architectural structure, but also a comfortable creative platform on which most courageous circus acts can find their embodiment. That is why an unprecedented decision was made to build not just a rehearsal hall, but a full-fledged training arena, only a little inferior to the main arena.
Наш манеж, он уникален по какой причине? Во-первых, у него высота, он порядка 10.
Our arena is unique. Firstly, it has a large height. It is 10 to 12 meters high. That is, we have the opportunity to rehearse any air acts there. Then we can already transfer to a large arena under a large dome. As the premises for animals, they made provisions for showers for such huge animals as elephants and camels. It is thoughtful, laborious, and unique work. Just imagine.
Слоны, верблюды, огромных животных. Вы представляете, вот насколько это такая вдумчивая, кропотливая и совершенно уникальная работа.
As the circus old-timers say, rehearsal arena is the most popular premise in the building. Work here does not stop for a minute. We even have to make a rigid schedule so that all artists can fully work out necessary acts. Process is led by Omirbek Isabekov, a teacher and in the past a famous circus artist. He began his creative career at the time of the Union State Circus as an acrobat eccentric. I was born in South Kazakhstan region. In 1968, I came from Shymkent to enter the institution. In the year when we arrived, there was a 2-year circus studio in the city. Moreover, there was an advertisement stating that they were taking people from villages who could ride horses for variety and circus acts. I came there and entered a 2-year studio in 1968. If it is God's will, this year will be 50 years as I am in the circus. However, of course, the heart of the circus is its arena. It is here that real magic happens for almost 50 years. Adults and children have been striving to become a part of it from all over Kazakhstan. We love the circus very much, so we come here and try not to miss a single show. Even if you come a second time and watch the same performance, but still it seems that you came here for the first time. No matter how many times you come here, everything will be new. Circus is a childhood. We really like to be here. The auditorium is oval. Roof of premise inside resembles shanrak of a yurt. Moreover, such an original form performs not only a decorative function, it also has a modern ventilation system. After major repairs, which ended in 2006, the number of seats was reduced from 2,060 to 1,798 in the hall. Now there are soft chairs for convenience of viewers, whereas according to the Canon Circus, the seats should be wooden. However, the main changes still concern semantic content. Until now, many productions of Kazakh State Circus were staged in divertissement program. Over the past 2 years, we have deliberately moved away from this format and have made it a rule to put on fairy tale style performances on the stage so that it is interesting for both children and adults. This is a good decision because it is always more interesting for the viewers to watch a great production, which develops along a storyline. It is not so interesting to watch short isolated acts, although they are decorated with beautiful music, costumes, and tricks. Among our last such works are Nutcracker Performance, Yer Tostik Laser Show, and New Year's Miracles New Year Performance. All of them are staged in fairy tale style, and they are of great interest to the public. Thanks to dedication of the management and artist, Almaty Circus has received world recognition. Its troupe repeatedly went on tour abroad and was awarded with awards of largest international festivals and competitions. Kazakh Circus was honored in Rome, Warsaw, Monte Carlo, Moscow, and Beijing. This is an occasion of director's special pride, who got here first as a child, like many employees of the circus. I went to the circus with my mother in childhood. We watched performances together. We were sitting in this hall admiring and immensely marveling at the infinity of human possibilities, strong horses and people on these horses, working with animals. Even though we were from the countryside ourselves and used to communicate with animals, we were amazed at how well the artist and animals understood each other. I did not think then that after many years I would come here as a director. Now when I have been holding this position for many years and I see everything from the inside, I understand that the circus is a special kind of art, where there are many interesting things, but they are very difficult. 5 years ago, the famous Kazakh architect Vladimir Katev passed away. Throughout his creative career, he took on most complex projects and improved on them in an effort to create a unique Almaty style. Moreover, judging by enthusiastic reviews of his contemporaries, he brilliantly coped with this task.